Okay, here we are. Oh, wow. Things are a little crazy at the moment. At the moment. Let me, and outside checking fluids in my wife's car in like 10 degrees or something, or whatever it is out there. So, let me derobe. Anybody got stripper music? No, let's not go there. Okay. What am I going to do with this? I don't really have a place for this. We'll put it right there for now. And we'll get rid of that for now. Oh. All right. Here we are. Ah. Sounds like they're tearing the house down upstairs. Oh, this sweater's kind of green. I'm kind of like the Phantom. Oh. Jeff's already laughing at me. Oh, let's see here. Have you been drinking Tension Tamer, Jeff? I think I'm starting to grow whiskers. Okay. So, I think my ears are still frozen. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I haven't done anything. Luckily, the wife goes back to work tomorrow. The kids go back to school on Tuesday, and things will be somewhat back to normal. All you were missing was the red star on that hat. Hey, man, keeping the ears warm is a priority. I'm too old to be a tough guy anymore. So, what the hell was that movie? Going to try to be ready to have cats in your face. What the heck was that movie? What was the movie with Dan Aykroyd and was it Chevy Chase? They ended up in Russia, and at the end they blow up the missile thing, and they get the two hot Russian babes. I can't remember what that movie was called. That was funny though. All right, where are we? Let's cover the business stuff first, I guess. Okay. Last week, Stephen won the drawing, and for the P61, and I plan on getting that out tomorrow because I have to take my daughter to the Spies Like Us. That's it. I have to take my daughter to the orthodontist, so I will be going by the post office. But it's time for the next drawing, right? And so here's what we're gonna do, and we're instead of doing it every month, we're gonna do it every 2 months. That's gonna give us 2 months to take in. Let me turn this green screen off. Let me see something here. No, that's not any better. Anyway, that'll give us so we can get some more entries until the entry levels start getting up. This last one we only had 5 entries, and that's fine. But we'd like to get more people involved. So, so continue to send entries in, but we're only going to give a kit away every 2 months, and see if that helps the numbers. So this time around, we have. Wow, the green on that box is flashing through too. That's really funny. Hang on a second here. Let me do something here real quick. I guess I can't. I could. I was just going to go in and change the properties to get rid of the green screen, but this is fine. So this is pretty cool. This is a Trumpeter 135th scale SA2 guideline. These things have been used all over the world. The box is open, but everything's still in the bags. And I think, and this isn't too crazy on the parts count. The trumpeters are pretty good. They're not bad. There's a little piece of wire in here. But I was gonna say, yeah, they give you Model Master and Gunze color numbers, but you know they're pretty. The colors, it's pretty much one color for the launcher and another color for the missile. Now, there's something kind of interesting or funny. That's weird how that does that. It just depends on what angle I have it up here. I saw one of these built up at a show once, and it was whoever built it weathered the missile. The missile had like grime streaks and stuff on it, and it's like, you only fire it once. Why would you do that? It only fires once. I guess it's possible stuff dripping down it and whatnot as it's sitting on the launcher. I don't know. It just seemed kind of odd to me. But you know, this is what took out Francis Gary Powers, and it used extensively in Vietnam, used extensively in the Middle East. So this is a pretty prolific piece of armament. So, and if you haven't done a trumpeter kit, my experience with them has been they use that soft plastic, which is fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. And but they're pretty good. I mean, I don't have any complaints. I haven't built a lot of them, but I'm trying to think of the last one that I built. I don't know. No idea. But yeah, that's just my what's in my cranium here about trumpeter is they use a soft plastic, but they're okay. I know they have inaccuracy issues, and I know, you know, they're, I don't know. I mean, there's no such thing as a 100% accurate model. Now that said, there's some things that are horrible, but you know, whatever. That's all up to your taste, right? So yeah, so entries, picture of a recent build to ShutterAce at ShutterAce.com. You know the drill, and we'll get that out to you in January. So we'll draw that beginning of March, and yeah. So and then we'll go from there. Where am I? What else did I want to... There was a couple things I want to talk about, but I got totally sidetracked. I'm getting an error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Okay, well, if you're getting buffering, I don't know what's going on. Everything seems fine on my end. It's no different than it ever is. Oh, let me shut off Spotify. It's not playing, but who knows what it's doing in the background. All right, let's see here. There was a couple of things that A couple things I wanted to address. There's been a couple of conversations going on in some of the groups that I think was interesting. And I didn't have a chance to sit down and write. Usually I try and write some stuff down on a pad so I know where to, have some place to jump off from. But let's see here. One was that the interior, unseen detail thing came up again, and a lot of this stuff just comes up over and over and over again, and that's fine, but it's here's my, and I've said this I'm sure a number of times, but my thing is, if you can't see it, what's the point? And I have lots of things to build. I mean, last year I finished 9. Okay, I've got like 120 that's sitting here in the queue or something like that. So there's, that's either in process or will be in process at some point. And what does that mean? Well, that means, just call it 12. If I could get to my 1 kit a month thing, that's gonna, that's a decade. That's 10 years. And I may or may not have 10 years worth of modeling left for various reasons, which we can talk about later. But so to me, it's first of all, nobody's ever gonna see it, and second of all, I got other things to build now, and that's not saying that doing all of that stuff is bad or wrong or what. It's not. I mean, for instance, if you're on a limited budget and you try and stretch the value of something like this, to keep it on the bench longer, because the longer that's on the bench, the more value you're getting out of the money you spent on it, right? So if it takes you, so if you buy spend $50 on a kit or whatever, or $50 on a kit and maybe some PE, and you got some plastic, and you got some lead wire and all this stuff that I have laying all over the place, and you can dink around with that thing for 4 to 6 months. Hey, that's fine, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I get that, and if you just want to do it, that's fine. I get that too, but, and I'm not saying people do this, but if you're doing that, if you're going to do, and you just, you're stuck on perfection or whatever, you don't get to come to the end of the year and say, oh, I only got 2 kits done. Well, yeah, you only got 2 kits done, and they're fantastic, and that's fine. Whatever, it's do what you want. But yeah, it was just, it's interesting because it's the same stuff over and over and over again, and it's and most of it's just nonsensical. It doesn't matter. I'm almost strictly an out-of-the-box builder because, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff in queue that I want to build. And if I spend a whole bunch of time on it, that ain't going to happen. And, so there. So that's just my drivel on that. It's just interesting that the question comes up all the time, and the colors, that comes up all the time, and there's all kinds of things that are just regurgitated over and over and over again. Now, something I will say, which I think is good, is I'm seeing a lot of that stuff a lot more often now, which tells me there's a lot more new modelers coming into the fold, and that's great, you know. So, you know, that's good for all of us. I mean, that's good for collectors. That's good for builders, because the bigger the pool of people, you know, the more economic it is for a manufacturer to produce a larger quantity of whatever they're producing. You know, that's part of the thing where that we forget is nowadays. You know, we get these super kits, but they don't make that. They don't produce that many of them. Not like back when we were kids, where they were just pumping these things out like crazy, because they were just, you know, they were selling like crazy. That's the way it was. That's not the market anymore. You know, you'll get, you know, you put out a survey or whatever and ask what everybody wants people to make, and yeah, everybody will jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, I'd buy one of those, but when it comes down to it, will they? Probably not. 2-3% might buy it, and the manufacturers know that. So, you know, I don't really get that whole oh, what am I thinking? The whole oh, it looks like the connection cleared itself up. Yeah, I don't know. What was I thinking? What was I talking about? Oh, but you know, and you talk about kit prices and stuff, and that's this whole sorry. You know, part of it is everybody screaming for more and more detail, and they put in more detail, and then, you know, kind of going back to Trumpeter, I mean, you know, they're like, they did all these 132nd jets and all this stuff back in the day, and they've got like full engines and stuff in it, and there's no provision in the kit to open it up to see the thing or whatever, and it's like, you're just adding cost. You're adding cost, and it's not, and you're never going to see it. So what do you do with that? You know, there's this, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? I mean, you can't say, oh, I want all this detail, and then complain about how much it costs, right? I mean, you can't expect New York strip at Wendy's for $3. Well, I mean, you could expect it, but you're not going to get it. Right? They might give you a baked potato with some beef sprinkles on it or something for $3, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, so a lot of it's just kind of over the top, and it's just ridiculous expectations. So, yeah. What the heck was there? Was two other things, and I can't remember what they were. One was, I remember what one was. One was the finger pointing at the spouse stuff. And I'm a firm believer in be nice to your wife, respect your wife, and your life will be much better. And I know a lot of it's all in good fun and stuff, but you know, you got to be careful out there, and you know, you don't stay married for decades without being a little cautious about what you do sometimes. And it's just not, it's, in my book, it's just not cool. You know, it's just not, not cool pointing fingers at the spouse or whatever for whatever reason. You know, they did whatever, or you know, kids get in the workshop and lose parts or whatever, and it's like, well, you know, I stopped when my kids were little. I stopped building because there was no way I was going to have these knives and stuff out where there was any remote possibility that they could get them. That I was not willing to take that chance at all. And it's a probably good thing I didn't. My oldest, kind of funny story, my oldest, he was very, very, very young. I mean, he wasn't walking yet. And I had a PC torn apart for some reason. I had put the thing back together, or was in the process of putting it back together, and went in the other room or went to the restroom or whatever. And I come back and he's out there and he's got a screwdriver and he's got this thing half torn apart again. And he didn't swallow any screws or anything, but yeah, I mean, point being, kids are much smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. Sometimes. So, yeah. Anyway, let's look at what I've been doing or what I haven't been doing. Let's see. There we are. There's a big shadow there. Hang on a second. Can I get rid of that a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. There we go. Okay. I got these things here so that I can clean my eyeballs. So, I think we talked about the puttying and stuff last week. What I have here is, I think, and I know I showed you this, but this is the Montex mini mask. And they actually give you inside and outside for the canopies. About the only thing I've done since I showed you that stuff was I kind of collected everything here for paint, and I don't know why I have both props here because I'm only gonna need one. And I dipped the canopies in Future, and they look a lot better now. So now all I got to do is put the masks on, and here's where we kind of run into a little bit of problem. There are vinyl masks and there are paper or tape or whatever you want to say masks, and the vinyl masks, the problem with the vinyl masks is over time they will shrink. And I don't know about these shrinking. It looks like they've shrunken a little bit. You can see the border around them. But the biggest problem is they're really stuck to the backing. I was kind of messing with them last night, and I didn't get anywhere, obviously. So that's that. I don't know what those people are being so loud about upstairs. But whatever. So yeah, so I'm that's where I'm at with this, and that's what I gotta mask all of this stuff. And I need something. I was looking for somewhere to put them where they'd be visible. I like the Montex masks. I use them on the B26, and they work well. And they actually make them in paper or Or what am I thinking? Or the vinyl. So yeah, I mean, this isn't as bad as like an ME110 or an HE111 or something, but it's bad enough. I need to hire me an accomplice to like mask canopies. This is your job, mask canopies. That's all you need to do. But I went across, I went and I checked the fit on these in most places, and they seem to fit fine. My plan is, well, I'm not sure what my plan is. I would like to put these in place and paint them in place, but with all the open panels and stuff, I'm not sure that's going to be the easiest thing to do. And I need to, but I'm probably gonna have to, because there's places I'm gonna have to shim. Where did it go? That's not good. Hang on. Diver down. Got it. I got it, and I didn't even step on it. So, yeah, I haven't done a lot. I got the, I don't know if I should, I got the motor. This is all done. Interestingly enough, that is the kit part and some paint. There's nothing added in there. Focus. Anyway, and it looks pretty good. It looks really good, actually. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It sits so far back in, and then by the time you get it, it's got the like the conformal spinner, the aerodynamic spinner that goes all the way into the cowling. So you're not going to see much by the time that's all in there, and so it's fine. I'm not saying super detailing your engines is a waste of time, but just be aware that you may not see a whole lot of it when the time comes, when it's all said and done. So I'm getting close enough on this to where I need to start thinking about what's next. And I've been kicking some things around. As we talked about before, I'm always going to have, I gotta put these up here so I don't forget to put them in before I put the canopies in. That would suck. But and I got to put the seat belts on the 3 seats yet. Oh man, I forgot to get packing tape. I went to the store an hour ago specifically to get packing tape, and guess what I forgot? Packing tape. You ever do that? Of course not. Of course not. You would never do anything like that. Ooh, look at that. That's probably perfect for these seat belts. Or I've got lots of washi tape in different colors. So, I'll just put some tape seat belts in here and be done with it. I'm not, there's a lot of glass on here, but I'm not really convinced seat belts are that big of a deal for most people. I mean, they look cool and whatnot, but yeah. I did find a really good article on prepping clear parts the other day that I'll put up on the website. And it's, do I still have it open? I don't think so. Yeah, it's off the Model Paint Solutions website. And they have an article there about clear parts, about prepping clear parts and getting the scratches out and all that stuff. It's a really good article. It's John Miller wrote it a couple of years back, and so that will be going up on the website. And so that's another good thing to come. So okay, I was talking about what's coming up. Well, here's the thought. And the thought is, I only have, as far as 48 scale German stuff, World War II stuff, I only have 5 kits in the stash that are World War II German, and they're all of the same era with all of the same painting. Well, I mean, I could do one. One of them's a FW190 F8. I could do in the sand, the 7980 with the sand with the modeling on it. Red 10, I think it was Red 10. Anyway, but bottom line is, my thought was they're all the same colors, and really the only hard part on any of them is the masking on the canopies on the Stukas. There's a couple of Stukas, a 190, 262, and another 335. And the 335, the 262, and the 190 are all Tamiya kits. So, those might be pretty simple. I don't know. We'll see. And one of the Stukas is the old Monogram G1, which would keep the Monogram theme kind of going too. So I'd be building them all in tandem, but I wouldn't necessarily be talking about them all at once. I don't think. I think I might break them up. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking there. I'm sorry I don't really have much going on right now. I'm, like I said, with everybody being on break and being home, it's pretty tough to get to the bench here. Looks like my light needs charging. I can fix that. And I don't know if you watch Brett G. I mean, he put a video out a couple of days ago. He's in the same boat. It's, he's got people home and people in the house, and it's like, man, what do? You gotta take care of your responsibilities, right? Is that gonna reach? No. Dang it. Oh well. Thought this might reach this charging cord I got here. Might reach the light, but it won't. That's all right. I will take care of that. Oh, I think that's the wrong kind of thing anyway. But yeah, so I mean, you could sit here and watch me mask this thing, but that's not very exciting. And honestly, I don't really feel like doing it right now. I've been thinking about it for like 3 days or 4 days or something. It's like, I'm not sure I really want to do this. And I'm pretty burned out right now. But and I need to clean in here. This gets stacked up so quickly in here with stuff. And yeah, doing all my daughter's paperwork and stuff for school. Oh, I know what I was gonna mention. I was talking earlier about having all the stuff that I want to build, and time being an issue and whatnot. I don't know anything really yet, but I noticed sometime last year. I noticed that I was dropping things a lot, which is very unusual for me. I'm one of those people that always knows where their wallet and their keys are, and if I have something in my hand, it's not. I'm not going to drop it, so anyway, so I noticed at work, the beginning of last year or whatever, that I went through a period there where I was dropping things, and I it just didn't really make any sense. It was odd enough that I noticed it, but it seemed to go away. Um, but I'm not really sure. I had an incident this morning where I went to grab something with my hand, and I got it, but I was very unsure of my grip, so I transferred it to my left hand, which isn't an issue, and then kind of did like this a couple times, and then transferred it back to my right hand. Um, I'm not sure if that's all related, it means anything or not. But what it got me thinking about is, well, if this is something that's legitimate, this is going to be a problem. and 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 I'm not saying that I should start rushing on things or whatnot, but um, it's. I guess what I'm saying is we're all getting older, and we're all going to have things like this pop up as time goes by. So if you have those like special projects that you've been holding on to for years, and I'll get to it when I get time. Well, by the time you get time, you may not. Maybe you'll have some kind of impairment where you may not be able to do it, or you may not be able to do it as well as you wanted to, or whatnot. For me, I have one big project on my list that that I need to get done, and that is the 1350th USS Arizona. And the reason that's a big deal to me is Arthur Cleon Manla was my granduncle, and he was married to my paternal grandfather's sister, who I knew growing up, and so he's one of the souls that's still on board the Arizona. He had light destroyer or whatever named after him. And so my project is a 1350th Arizona with all the stuff, all the PE stuff. Well, maybe not all of it, but all the upgrades and whatnot. Get it done right. And then I'm also going to do the destroyer, put him on one display base with a little card with the history. And so that's kind of my life project that I want to get done at some point. And this deal is kind of concerning. If this becomes a problem, I don't know. I mean, I'll deal with it. It's life. It is what it is. But point being, if you got something like that out there that you want to get done, maybe pushing it off isn't the best thing. Maybe it's, maybe I'm being paranoid, but just something to think about. All right. That's it, I guess. I'm going to, what am I going to do? I would lie and say I'm going to clean this mess up right now, but I'm not. And I'm not going to mask this canopy right now either. But, yeah, so hey, remember, Trumpeter SA2, drawings beginning of March, and send your photographs of a recently completed model to ShutterAce at ShutterAce.com, and you too can be in the raffle, right? 1 entry per person. And if you send 2, I'm going to enter the first one. I always take the first one. If you send more than one photo, I take the first photo. If you send more than 1 entry, I take the first entry. I'm lazy. That's just the way it is. Right? All right, hey, that's it for this week. Take care of the people you love, and we'll see you next time.